Hey guys, it's Michael and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Behind the Song, where each time we meet we take a look at the history of a song that I feel is worth telling. And today we're going to look at one of the most underrated songs from the new wave of British heavy metal, Saxon's Princess of the Night. Before we start, of course, a little history is in order. Saxon formed in Barnsley, England in 1975, consisting of vocalist William Biff Byford, guitarist Paul Quinn and Graham Oliver, bassist Steve Dawson, and drummer Pete Gill. No, not the same drummer from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, by the way. They built a loyal following after the release of their self-titled debut album in 1978, but it was their sophomore album, 1980's Wheels of Steel, that really got things going. The album shot to number 5 on the UK album charts, propelled by the second single, 747, Strangers in the Night, a song that probably deserves an episode of its own, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Thrust with enthusiasm, Saxon released their third album, Strong Arm of the Law, in November of 1980, which continued their upward trajectory. Still, they were far from the top of the emerging new wave of British heavy metal, and they knew they would have to deliver the goods on their next release. With that in mind, they re-entered the studio in early 1981 to record what would become their fourth album, Denim and Leather. And one song on this album will be Princess of the Night, the subject of today's episode. Recorded in the key of E-flat, Princess of the Night begins with Paul Quinn strumming a percussive guitar riff, which is followed by Biff Byford's distinctive vocals. Okay, before we go any further, what do you think the song is about now that you've heard the first verse? Is it about a princess who delivers mail at night? Maybe it's a superhero who works as a mail lady as her cover. Byford singing about an iron horse who used to bring the mail to him 20 years ago might conjure images of the latter, but that's not the case. The princess in the song is actually the LMS Princess Royal Class steam train. That train is the iron horse bringing the mail. So now it's time for our first on Behind the Song, a bit of train history. The London, Midland and Scottish, or LMS Railway Company, built the Princess Royal Class trains between 1933 and 1935, completing 12 steam locomotives in only 2 years. The Princess Royal Class trains would prove sturdy workhorses for the UK's Royal Mail Service, running for almost 30 years until the last one was retired in 1962, and capturing the imagination of several who saw them, Biff Byford among those enthusiasts. It's also worth mentioning a fun fact about Saxon's hometown of Barnsley, England. Barnsley is a huge industrial town, dominated by several railway lines and scrapyards. While this next part skips ahead chronologically a bit, it's best to mention it now. In 1981, Byford told Kerrang! Magazine that Princess of the Night is a song about a steam train that ends up in the scrapyard. So there you have it, the singer himself has confirmed the LMS Princess as the Princess of the Night he's singing about. With that, we can continue our deep dive into the song. The first chorus hits after the first verse, with Byford singing about seeing the writing on the wall about the LMS Princess trains. By that, Byford meant he knew the Princess was rapidly approaching the end of its service life, and it was only a matter of time before it would be retired by the railroad. As previously mentioned, the LMS Princesses were retired in 1962, and of the original 12 built, only 2 are currently preserved today, the Princess Elizabeth and the Princess Margaret Rose. As of April 2025, the Princess Elizabeth is undergoing a big overhaul to her engine and firebox to ensure she's still capable to ride the rails, while the Princess Margaret Rose is on display at the Westshade Museum in Derbyshire, England. So if, like me, you want to see the Princess of the Night in person, now you know where to look. But let's get back on track. Pun intended. In the second verse, Byford gives the listener more images of how he saw and heard the LMS Princess through his own eyes. The sparks he mentioned are likely unintentionally released from the chimney of the locomotive while pulling a heavy load. This was a legitimate concern in the days of steam trains, wood burners in particular, as sparks were known to cause fires along the sides of the rail lines. The issue largely went away with the introduction of coal locomotives, but those trains still had furnaces as part of their powertrain. Those furnaces were often get red hot and bright enough to illuminate the dark of night. But of course, sights like these are only part of the imagery of trains. The sound of the steel wheels against the steel rails and the iron clattering as the train thunders by complete the entire experience of being a rail enthusiast. Just listen to the princess herself for proof. chorus repeats after the second verse, and then we get the first of two guitar solos played by Quinn. Now, for some unfathomable reason, Quinn's solo was cut from the music video. So here's my cover of it to fill that void. That solo is the very definition of shredding. Not to mention, anyone who's heard Metallica's Seek and Destroy likely knows where Kirk Hammett took inspiration for his solo in that song. Here's what I mean by that. Very similar, huh? And if nothing else, take this from me. Quinn's Princess of the Night solo is such a fun one to learn and play, so I advise all you fellow guitarists watching to learn both it and the second solo, which we'll get to later. In the meantime, Princess of the Night enters another round of the chorus before the third verse begins. Much like the second verse, the third gives us more imagery of the LMS princess, and ends with a prophetic thought from Byford. In my research for this video, I realized how hard it is to convey just how graceful the LMS Princess is to watch. Luckily, this footage gives you a good idea of what Byford means by see the wheels flash by and hear the whistle blowing, streaking down the track. And his wish of bringing the princess back one day reveals just how enamored he is with her. That enthusiasm with trains is rather common. There are several train spotters out there, people from all sorts of backgrounds who fall in love with the railways and the trains that ride them, and go out of their way to see them. The affliction also applies to plane spotters, people who love to see airplanes flying, but that's another topic altogether. After the third verse, Princess of the Night wraps up with one more chorus, and then the second guitar solo, this time played by Graham Oliver. This solo is in the song's video, but it's a bit drawn out, so be ready for that. And with that, Princess of the Night was done, added to Denim and Leather, and later released as the album's third single in October of 1981. The song peaked at number 57 on the UK singles chart, while its parent album rose to number 9 on the album charts. The music video also received steady rotation on a new television channel called MTV, and that added to Saxon's rising popularity. As the 80s wore on, the band began playing bigger shows for bigger crowds, and they're still regarded as one of the top British heavy metal bands to this day. Now getting back to the song's inspiration for a moment, Princess of the Night might be the only song about an actual train. While there is Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, that song only uses the train as a metaphor, likening going crazy to being on a train that's derailed. Let's think about when Biff Byford wrote the lyrics. He probably didn't set out to write a hit song. He just had an idea that he put to paper. As fate would have it, however, Princess of the Night's success can be attributed to its inspiration, and that adds to the uniqueness of the song. On another note, the song's appeal to rail enthusiasts also adds to Saxon's fanbase. I'm sure more than one train spotter has Princess of the Night on their Spotify or Apple Music playlist. And if that's not enough, Saxon even re-recorded the song along with 8 others for their greatest hits album, Heavy Metal Thunder, in 2002. The 2002 version of Princess of the Night has a slightly heavier sound than the original, while at the same time maintaining Saxon's classic British metal feel.
She used to be an iron horse, 20 used to bring the mail to me through the ice and snow. Outside alone I watched her steaming through the night. 90 tons of thunder lighting up the sky. She was the princess of the night.
But moreover, it introduced a new generation to the band, which kept their career going well into the new millennium. And for that, I'm sure the members of Saxon are still grateful to this day. So I hope you guys liked the video, or at least found it entertaining. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next episode. And until next time, rock on. Bye for now. No, not the drummer. And no, not the drummer from... Not the same drummer as... No, not the same drummer as from third album, Strong Arm. Byford singing about an iron horse that... Byford singing about a... With Byford singing about seeing the... The sparks mentioned are likely unintentionally people from all sorts of background, added to Denim and Leather, and later released as the album's third single in October of 1991. Not 1991, 1981. The song peaked at number 57 on the UK. And that's not enough. Saxon even re-recorded the song along with eight others for their greatest hits